Let's talk about brotherly love. So, yeah, if you think about what kind of paradigm our world needs most, I'd argue that it's it's the paradigm of brotherly love. Because I feel like in my day-to-day experiences and what you see on the news, like there's this growing trend towards this like narcissism, just like people, for whatever reason, like people have done for thousands of years, like thinking that they're better than somebody else because of their ethnicity, their race, their culture, how much money they have, how much power they hold in our worldly terms. Like, mm, I don't know. It's just the same stuff again, and like that is used to justify some form of oppression or abuse or inequality or browbeating. Like, can we stop? Can we stop with that? Because it is at the root of so many of our issues, so many, if not all. Um, and it just makes the experience of life like much less pleasant for everyone involved. So the solution, the counter to that is an ethos of brotherly love, a way of seeing one another as being more or less equal in value and potential and I don't know, just like in how we relate to each other. Like there should be this sense of camaraderie and brotherhood and equality because we're all we have on our planet, on our world, in our world. Like, sure, there's like other animals and plants, which, you know, whose populations have been declining, but like, we're all we have. Like, I don't know, even if some of our brothers and sisters, like, we might disagree with them, we might have some, some serious gripes and issues. Like, they're still our brothers and sisters. And that mentality, that mindset is sorely lacking. Um, and it's been a core message of, yeah, so many of the great spiritual leaders of the past and present. Um, because what else are we gonna do? Huh? Like, if we don't love each other, like what do people usually do to each other? Like, yeah, they usually hate each other. They usually get into like little conflicts, and these little conflicts escalate, and like people start to like turn on each other and kill each other and hate each other and murder each other, and then if there is like no measure of forgiveness, like it just grows and grows and grows until just everyone is at each other's throats. And that kind of thing has happened like a couple times in humanity's histories. Like we've gone through wars, we've gone through world wars. Like, do we really want to keep doing that, or can we choose differently? And I'm advocating that we must choose differently, right? So, and like, it's sad that it's a radical idea. Like, it's actually not so commensurate with a lot of our systems, that exist. Like if you go on in and push this idea of radical equality in, hmm, I don't know. So one example is like music, violin performance, classical music. Um, One of the interesting things about this sphere is like there's a lot of elitism. Yeah, there's a lot of elitism, and people just believe that like some people can't achieve certain things. Like there's this genetic barrier to their success, and I think there's some truth to that. Like some people are more talented, and some people do achieve greater heights for a number of different reasons. But um, fundamentally, I believe that given the right supports, given the right motivation, given the right freedom from illness, from disease, from toxins, of which there are many in the modern world. Um, Given freedom from those and like proper nourishment, nutrition, which also many people are lacking in our world, um, people can uh, develop their abilities to extraordinary heights. Um, but the reality right now is that like there's a quite a stark difference between like the abilities. So I mean, whether it comes to like music or sports or academics or like some measure of career success, like there are natural differences. There are like differences that arise out of like dynamics of oppression. There's caps to people's potential that um, exist as a result of like sickness, hidden illness. But for whatever reason, like differences between people exist, but like that should not be a reason to justify like any form of oppression or any form of like this narcissistic ideal that like I'm I'm just like better than you in every way. And like yeah, I mean that attitude like has a bit of a role to play, like in the realm of like competition, or like I'm thinking of sports, like that kind of banter um, can really like spark good competition. But it should never go so deep as to be like, no, I'm just like at every level and at the most like deepest, most fundamentals, like I am superior to you, like you must worship me. Like that's the energy like we need to stay away from, because like that's the kind of energy that produces like demagogues, that produces like just unbelievable levels of inequality within our society, within our world. And the way to combat that is by recognizing every single one of us as brothers and sisters. Like we are who we have for one another. And something that I think people associate with brotherly love is just like this kind of naive like affection towards others. And I think that is a part of that. Like you love your brother, you love your sister. But I think the part about brotherly love that like doesn't get discussed as much is this this concept of like kind of like tough love, like or like kind of rough ways of playing, like because there's space for that like within love. And and brotherly love, like it can be very strong, like it can be like rough at times, like because your brothers are the people, your brothers and sisters, they're the people that should tell you like when you're screwing something up, like when you're um, going off the rails. And um, you depend on their honesty and their truth and their like no BS, like cut through the the usual filters, like kind of message and feedback, like, because that's what can bring you back. That's something that like keeps people from like going too far, going in the deep end, like getting sick, like getting into trouble. Like I wish we did that more for each other. Um, so one way I try to practice that in my life is in my violin lessons. Like some kids just like walk in and you know in North America and Canada, like the school system is um, not super rigorous. It depends on your school, depends on the level, but like you can get a high grade with a reasonable amount of effort. But I think like some kids, some children like start to use that as a proxy for like life and like how difficult they perceive life to be. But um, I don't know, but I like to like kind of humble my students. Like I like to tell them like, hey, what you played back there, like it sucked. Like very few people might want to listen to it. Like in fact, like your parents probably won't want to listen to that for much longer. And like it's a kind of like brutal truth that like that kind of happens if you're learning an instrument like the violin or something. But it's like out in society, out in our world, like people don't usually tell that to each other because like being nice and maintaining like a peaceful relationship is more important than like conveying some to someone like the truth. Um, and that like has its place. That kind of those niceties have their place. But like, who's gonna get real with us? Like there was a period in my life where like I got into drugs and like it like really affected um, my own sanity and stability. But like there weren't really people to like just get a hold of me and say like, June, like stop this shit right now. Eh, like it's gonna lead you down like a bad path. Like I wish there was more of that. So um, I'm just trying to be that for somebody now. Like I want to keep things real with people and yeah, deliver some. So just like whatever kind of brotherly love I can provide. Um, I don't know. I've got lots on my mind. Like lots I'm hoping could be potentially helpful. And I don't know. I like to yap. Hopefully there's something of like value here. But yeah, my shtick, my main message is we must love one another. Must, should, try our best to love one another as brothers and sisters. Because that, like, what else are we gonna do? What else are we gonna do? Um, and I think like when you start to break that down, like, what does that mean to like live in brotherly love and like how does that affect my life? Like once you start to break that down, like it actually becomes quite complicated. Some things. Some things like very simple, some things more complicated. So I think one of the first places to apply this to is like um, your close circle. So like your family, your actual brothers, sisters, your cousins, like um, your parents, like those are the people that if you have the good fortune of having, like those are the people that kind of come first in your life. They've provided you with a certain degree of love and affection and trust and they've given you a lot, and for me it's like it's really fun to kind of think of your family, even your parents, as like your brothers and sisters, because again, at some level it might sound weird, but like they are. Like I think it's like a mature thought to have, like as in like your your mom, your dad, your grandparents, like they're um, like human beings, like just like you, and like because of their heart, because of their generosity, like they've chosen to take on the role of your father, your mother, your grandmother, grandfather, and they've given you something, like they've given you love, which is like when you grow up, you start to like think and wonder like how rare is this? I think it's pretty rare. If you go out in society or like the working world, yeah, that kind of warmth and affection and generosity of spirit, like you can't take that for granted. And I used to think like, oh, if your mom, if your dad, like of course you do that, like, but at a very deep level, like they don't have to. They don't have to. Like they have their own lives. They can have their own lives. Um, they're just like another human being that has chosen to protect you, that has chosen to guide you. Um, so it's important to be grateful for that. But at the same time, like if you like embrace this idea that like they're equal human beings as you, like you, then I think that gives you a lot more freedom to potentially challenge them, you know, if appropriate. Like in terms of like you don't have to agree with their decisions, like you don't have to agree with their point of view entirely, um, but it's just like if you respect and love them enough as these people whose points of view and opinions, like if they might be different from yours, like but like if you respect them enough as brothers and sisters, then you might be able to like engage or debate with like whatever opinions they have, like in a respectful way, um, because I think if you don't like see people as like equals, and if you just see your parents as your parents and not like kind of like brothers and sisters, like people that you can talk to and um, have differences about, but like come to certain agreements on, like if you don't see them that way, like it can be like pretty limiting. Like the relationship can become like one-sided, like they just tell you what to do and then you just do it because that's the role, that's the dynamic you're used to. But yeah, I think if you shift to this model of like brotherly love, like where uh, information, energy, um, just points of view are exchanged a little more freely, like I think you can make better decisions as a family unit, for your life, for their lives, and yeah, the spirit of equality is so important in like treating one another with like the right type of respect. Um, yeah, it's like for parents, like not seeing your kid as like just a kid, like even if they're young, like even if they're um, I don't know, like misbehaving, like behaving like a little kid, like just knowing that like there is a soul in there that is equal to you, and like whose voice and opinions like deserve to be heard. I think that's a really good concept to keep in mind for parents, and for children. Like your parents aren't uh, this kind of superior figure. Like in some ways they are. Like they hold authority over like like um, how like their opinions on like how they think the world that they've lived in and experienced, like how it operates, and like what they can teach you about that. Like for some while like you don't have a direct experience of the world, like that can be very helpful. um, or just like other experience, knowledge, resources, like it's important to like submit to them for certain things. But like but at a certain point, like you start to develop your own ideas, points of view, like I think it's important to like not see your parents as just like these imposing figures in your life, but like just other people who you're close to, who you have the fortune of being close to. um, and yeah, I just think it would make for a richer family life if we could be like brothers and sisters. Like yeah, I think it's a good thing. So the light makes my hair look gray, like look like I'm 50 or something. um, so like I think within families, brotherly love is important, and like among friends, like I think the spirit of brotherly love helps each other like get closer than just friends could. Um, and I think if you treat one another as brothers and sisters, like you can be a bit more comfortable. Like you don't have to like hide yourself so much. Like you don't have to um, be too inauthentic. I think you can feel more free to like call someone out on their BS, or like be a bit more rough when playing. Like I think those elements really make life fun. So that's what I would advocate for: brotherly love, brotherly love. Yeah, starting from where you're at, starting from your friends and family, um, but then like eventually like applying it to um, the world and broader society, um, and really considering like if everyone, like including the downtrodden, including the people of the world who are facing war, discrimination, oppression of all sorts, like if these people are truly my brothers and sisters, like what is it important that I stand for in my day-to-day life? Like what is it important that I advocate for? And like how can I get them help, like practically? How can I help them like spiritually and in prayer? Like I think you start to consider those things, and I think the more you engage with that, the better place, yeah, the world becomes. Yeah, the world can become a warmer and more compassionate place. So um, let's think that through. Let's talk about that another time. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. Sorry, my room's a mess, and I'm hoping to clean it up relatively soon. So, but yeah, thanks, guys. I love you.